Welcome to Swing and a Miss, a baseball podcast, the World Series edition.
Yes, this is home of the Fall Classic.
Oh, Canada.
That is a different anthem than Where We Live. Welcome in. Let's get to it. Welcome into Swing and a Miss, the World Series edition special broadcast. How you guys doing?
Woo, woo, woo.
We finally got here.
We got
We're
here.
almost there.
We are.
And at the end of the day, a teams whose primary color is blue will win it all.
We are down Nels again. Nels is still on assignment, so apologies to those that tune in just for Nels. But we do have his picks. We will share them with you and tell us if you think they're right or wrong. But we are going to start this episode with Tyler giving us a breakdown of the games 6 and 7 of the ALCS, which is something that we were watching ALCS Game 6 in our last episode, but now we know what happened in 6 and 7. So Tyler, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Well, Game 6 was, should we say, it got late early. Toronto's just sort of showed up, and then they took care of business. There wasn't a lot of drama in that Game 6, and I got to be honest, we were recording the podcast with much of Game 6 on the way, and Game 7 was so exciting, it sort of erased all memories that I had of Game 6.
The one big thing for me on Game 6, Yasavage, however you say his name.
Yasavage.
Who will be the Game 1 starter, by the way, if you guys didn't see that. He's filthy, man.
Can we really quickly talk about, is there anything better than a Game 7?
No, especially
in sports.
Especially a Game 7 like we had, where there was a lot of good baseball that got played.
Yeah.
Seattle came out early and really made things uncomfortable for the Blue Jays crowd. That Toronto home crowd was quiet in the middle of that game.
Yep.
Things were getting tight. Things were getting anxious. And they didn't necessarily know which way things were going until George Springer woke up the entire city of Toronto with a massive 3-run bomb.
Okay,
The entire country of Canada.
Just really quickly, let's talk about that particular home run, because Josh was the only one from the show when we did this on Sunday that believed that the Blue Jays would get it done. So when you watched it as someone who thought the Mariners would get it done, and I did too, and you watched it, Josh, as somebody who believed that the Blue Jays would get it done, what did you feel when George Springer hit that home run? Because I have a very specific feeling that I think is important to talk about.
Well, actually, I am going to wind it back a little bit to when Bizardo came in to relieve Wu. And that was the moment that things got uncomfortable for me with my choice of the Mariners to win the whole thing. Because Bizardo had been nails this postseason.
Yeah.
He had come out and he had pitched exceptionally well all postseason.
Yep.
But he'd also pitched in every game this series, if not every game, every game except for one. And he had pitched George Springer in the game prior.
Yep.
You had essentially the Mariners' A bullpen that was rested after getting blown out the night before. And they were ready to come in and hold serve. Why you brought Bizardo in there was sort of the big question to me. So when Bizardo came in, I got that spidey sense tingling saying that things were going to go sideways for the Mariners right there and then. I was expecting a hit and a tie game.
Did not expect the
3-run shot.
Wow.
And so once that happened, it woke everyone up, and then it seemed like the rest of the game just flew by.
Yeah.
After that, that's the bottom of the seventh. The Mariners have two innings after that, and I feel like collectively there must have been about 7 pitches per inning
For all intents
to
and
make those
purposes,
3 outs.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, that was a walk-off. Like,
Yes.
the game was over at that moment.
For sure. But did you have a sense of sadness for the Mariners? Did you have a sense of pride for the Blue Jays? Did you have a sense of elation because you had an AL contender for the Dodgers at that point?
No, I was definitely, I felt a little bad for the Mariners because I feel what they did with this team is they really did push all of their chips in. You bring in Naylor, you bring in Suarez, you add along the edges to, build around this team
Right.
that was being, just pulled along all season by your catcher who's giving an MVP, career level performance. And it felt like, if not now, when's going to be the year? It doesn't feel to me like this Mariners team is necessarily set up right now to just roll it back next year with the same cast of characters and expect the same results. They're going to have to do something substantial to be able to supplement what they already had going on.
Pitching or hitting?
Yes, everything.
Everything?
Because they're not going to get the season that they did out of Raleigh.
No.
And
That's not reasonable to expect.
and you're going to need more offense. You're losing Naylor, you're losing Suarez. Maybe you re-sign one or two of those.
Maybe you're losing them.
Well, I mean, you'd have to re-sign them in free agency, and I think that with both of them, there's going to be some suitors. So
There's definitely going to be some suitors for both, but they feasibly could re-sign them to maybe bridge deals. They could do that, 2-year deals. I don't know how reasonable that is, but it could happen.
I think Naylor this postseason and down the stretch probably made himself a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot harder to bring him back. Suarez wasn't quite as good as they had hoped. He also has played in Seattle before. That might be an easier one to swing, but Naylor might be a little more than they would want to spend given how he's performed in the last 2 months through the playoffs.
yeah, but
do you think that Suarez maybe takes that bridge deal, and Naylor takes the extension?
no, I think that they're
significant?
both. I think they're both looking for essentially their last contract.
You think they're
Yeah.
both going for that?
So
I mean, Suarez is 34 now. You don't bridge at 34.
I think with Naylor, the thing that works in Naylor's favor is that there wasn't a market that developed for Alonso last year.
Right.
Alonso is going back. He's testing the market. So essentially there's going to be 2 of them out there.
Right.
I don't think both get paid. If I had to wager, I would actually say
I'd pay Naylor.
It's likelier that I think Naylor gets a 7 or 8 year deal
Right.
than Alonso is. Which is probably like if it was my money to spend, I would rather spend it on Alonso because
Really?
Same.
yes,
100%.
because
Why wouldn't?
because I
100%.
feel like it's more likely that a 39-year-old Pete Alonso can still hit a home run and still perform at a very high level.
Okay, can I ask a stupid question? Is Pete Alonso 39?
No,
I'm
he's
saying
talking
at
about
the end of the
long-term
contract. At the end of
signing
the
him to a
contract.
long-term
He scared
contract.
me for a second.
No.
How is Pete Alonso 39?
No, he is
All right,
not
fair
older
enough.
than
No,
you.
Fair
but,
enough. Hey, we don't need to disclose
I feel-
ages on this
I feel-
podcast.
I feel
All I
like-
said is he's not older than you at 39 like that. So
I am
You are
20
younger than 39.
I am 21. Thank you for that. Really, you would take Alonso over Naylor?
Yes,
so I'm
100%.
I'm assuming both of them are going
Really?
to be asking for a contract with more than 6 years on it.
Yeah. I would
and
imagine so.
Naylor's build and skill set is a lot more prone to a heavy recession.
And I always like paying
Interesting.
for a right-handed hitter more than I like paying for a left-handed hitter.
It is really weird how lefty on lefty seems to be a lot bigger problem than righty on righty.
Yeah.
Righty on righty, if you're a righty and you can't hit righties, you are not a Major League Baseball player.
Well,
Right.
you're
And it's just wild
You're
how
an
they-
80, you're an 80%er hitting against an 80%er. You should be able to do that by now.
Right, yeah. You can't get away with it compared
Yeah.
to being a lefty who can't hit lefties. You just don't face enough lefties for that to significantly impact your value.
Fair,
for the
but
team.
don't you think that the majority of, and this is just recency bias or I don't even know what you'd call it, but don't you think the majority of smooth swings come lefty on lefty?
No.
You
don't think
not
so?
At all.
Really?
I think lefties on lefties oftentimes look like the most uncomfortable and out of sorts.
I think lefties on lefties when they connect look so smooth.
when they connect, but they also have the most significant
Swing and
platoon
miss.
splits of anybody else.
Well, that's also fair.
when you're a lefty, if you can't hit lefties, that's almost part of what you signed up for.
Probably why a lot of lefties that are in the major leagues right now do so well for themselves,
Right.
because they can hit lefties.
But to kind of go back to your point that started this all off, Tyler, this Mariners team kind of reminds me of the 06 Tigers. And yes, I know bringing the Tigers to everything, but
Wait, you're a Tigers fan?
Yeah.
I had no clue.
in 06 the team did go to the World Series but got demolished by the Cardinals. But that was one of those teams where just about everybody on that offense outside of the like heavy veterans had career years. And it's like, can you run that back? And they didn't. They went and they continued to build and get better and adding more pieces instead of just running it back. And I feel like that's kind of what Seattle has to do. They can't be satisfied with what they had. They have to take this as a building block. And if they don't, they're not going to get back here because they've got some years that are not going to be replicated by the guys that they have. And they need to definitely build off of that.
Do you think there's anything harder to do in, let's call it major sports? So college basketball, college football, women's college basketball, and professional sports, men's and women's. Do you think there's anything harder to do than repeat as World Series champions?
I mean, college is always tough because you're turning over rosters so significantly every year.
Right.
So I don't think that college is fair putting this into comparison.
I think it is now with the NIL deal. I think
No, because even then, the max a player can be around is 4 5 years with a COVID year. But so even then, you're getting guys for 1 year
all right,
at a time.
let's call it professional only. Is there anything harder in professional sports than repeating the World Series?
in the last 30 years.
All right,
no.
so in that same vein, let's talk about the World Series because it is difficult to repeat as World Series champions, and we have a team right now in the LA Dodgers that has an opportunity to repeat as World Series champions. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down this matchup. We're going to look at hitters versus hitters, pitchers versus pitchers, and we're going to give you our predictions. And also, Nels, thank you for being here, Nels, silently. He's going to give us his prediction also for the World Series. So where do we want to start? You want to start with you, Tyler? Because I feel like
Sure.
you've put in the most research into this matchup that among the three of us.
Brief amount of research. One of the fun things about this matchup is the Dodgers did not have a bye. They were the number 3 seed in the National League. However, they have still played 1 game fewer than the Blue Jays, who did have a bye. So with those two things, you actually get pretty similar stats between the two teams as far as how many plate appearance all the batters have had, how many opportunities they've had, how many batters their pitchers have faced. And I'm looking, and I am not liking what I am seeing from the Dodgers hitting. Right now, Shohei had an absolutely brilliant Game 4 of the NLCS. The best game, potentially, that a baseball player has ever had.
We talked about that.
However, when you look at his collective stats over this postseason, that one game is doing a ton of the lefting on his entire stats. He is only batting, 220 with a 333 on base. A lot of slug because of those 3 home runs, but he's not even living up to his own standards as far as offensive production over these past 10 games. And below that, Teoscar has done well. Mookie has done well, but it's been
Mookie.
poor series for. It's been a poor
just fun how
playoffs
you said that.
for Max Muncy, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith. Like, none of those guys have really showed up. Collectively, the team's batting .256 with 340 on base. 430 slug, 770 OPS. You compare that to Toronto, who I would not say definitively win against better pitching staffs, but at least on par. I would say that Toronto might have gone up against slightly better pitching staffs in their road to the World Series. They're batting .296 collectively, 355 on base, 523 slug for an 878 collective OPS. Now, so much of that offensive production comes from them just absolutely demolishing the Yankees. We were talking about how ridiculous though their stats were against the Yankees.
Right.
But even with all of that, I felt like they showed very well against the Mariners. They beat up against the Mariners starting pitching. They had the Mariners bullpen on the ropes and really kind of made everyone look a little foolish. The story of this will be, I expect Vladimir Guerrero and George Springer to continue to be absolutely dominant.
Do you think this? Sorry, Josh. I know you were gearing up to say
you're
something.
good.
Do you think that after this World Series, regardless of the outcome, does Bo Bichette re-sign with the Blue Jays?
I hope not.
You hope not?
I hope he comes to Detroit.
I don't.
Excluding hope, do you think he actually re-signs with the Blue Jays?
It'll be interesting because he's going to get some big offers.
Yeah.
So
and he's 27,
seven.
28, something like that.
And I will say that Bo Bichette, I would wager that the Blue Jays are more likely to let him go. Look at what they've done in this postseason without Bo Bichette.
He's been out a lot.
I could see if you've got resources that you want to allocate to your team,
Yep.
where you say, okay, like, it would be great to have Bo Bichette. We want to have Bo Bichette, but we'd prefer to have a little bit more in the way of starting pitching or some better relievers, or even, perhaps like more pop at a corner outfield position than they do currently.
Yeah,
I could see them arguing and saying it's nice to have Bo Bichette, but we've got a pretty good middle infield as it stands right now, and we'd prefer to spend that money elsewhere. Because the two guys that
Excuse me.
that I am looking most at to see whether they can sustain it or not would be Ernie Clement and Addison Barger. Those guys have been.
Ernie Clement was your guy.
Ernie Clement,
ALCS.
he is phenomenal. I love watching him hit.
He's a fun guy.
He always seems to find a hole. He always seems to have like what you would call an old school at bat, where he seemingly just sort of like chokes up on it and finds a hole. But when you're talking about Ernie Clement playing either a third or second base, that's a really good position for him. Addison Barger, you've got him playing either in right field, or you've got him at third base, and he's been doing really, really well. I think those two players. My question is, can Ernie Clement and Addison Barger sustain? How is Bo Bichette's health? Will he be able to contribute? And then on the other side, will Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, and Shohei Ohtani kind of return to their historic forms?
Hot take, I think Freddie Freeman's done.
I was going to say the exact opposite. If there's one thing that you can guarantee, it's that Freddie Freeman's going to show up in the World Series.
Oh, no, I'm saying after this season. After the World Series.
Retiring?
You think he's retiring?
Not a chance.
I wouldn't be shocked. He seems to be following a very similar trajectory from a few other players that have done this. I'm not saying I want it to happen. I'm not saying he should. But I do see him following a very similar trajectory as other players. Now, one thing that I have to ask, and you're going to smirk at this, how do we think that Star Wars fans will feel about Bo Bichette going from Toronto to another location?
Star Wars fans?
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Shet. Boba.
Oh.
Fett. Come on, that was a good joke. That was a
sorry.
good joke.
See, you said that, but I'm not a nerd, so I didn't,
Yeah.
I didn't get the humor. Didn't get the humor.
Dude, I wrote that joke like 6 days ago, and I've been waiting to say
I'm
it.
a jock. I'm a cool guy. Like,
You had to write that joke?
And I did.
Oh,
I wrote it
wow.
down. I don't know that I wrote it. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting take, Josh.
I don't know.
What do you think? What do you feel?
He's still playing well. Hit 295, hit 24 home runs this year. Still played 147 games. He's still playing really well.
Is that 15,
He's also-
does that 15 count the postseason losses, or no?
The what?
The games lost, is that including postseason losses or just regular season?
no, that's just regular season.
Regular season.
I'm confused.
That he
The
didn't. he didn't
number
play the
of
whole
games he didn't
162.
play
No. Yeah, he played 147 out of 162.
of 162.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
gotcha.
yes.
I wish you all could see the face that Josh just gave me.
I was focused on what I was doing, and I did not know where you were coming from
Such
there.
a confused look.
But he's still playing really well. And the other thing that I think might play a factor in it, he's at 2,431 hits. He's 35 years old. He has an outside shot at 3,000. I don't know when the next guy is going to have a shot at 3,000. I don't know if that sticks in his mind as a goal. He had another 164 hits this year. Puts him, 3.5 years away? If he continues
Yeah,
that pace
yeah.
up so he can get there by 38, if he continues playing the way he does, I think he's got an outside shot at 3,000. I think unless he starts like missing significant time and missing 15 games in the regular season is not missing significant time.
No.
He's still playing well. He's under how much longer is
He's
he
got
under contract?
2 more years.
2
He's
years.
under
He's got 2
contract for
years.
26 and
2 more years.
27.
I don't
as
think
well.
he walks away till that contract's done, and then based on where he is on that hit column, he may try another year or two with some team that's willing to throw him out there for 110 games a year to try to get to 3,000.
Are the next 2 years team control or player?
control.
Team control.
Team
Okay.
control. And I would say that, we're talking about, he's 35 right now, so you're talking about 36, 37.
Yep.
I don't see any reason that his hit tool will drop off so significantly that he's not going to have value at 39, 40. I could see him, maybe he comes back to the Bravos and, finds that 3,000th hit there. That would be really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I know that Freddie had very mixed feelings about having to leave Atlanta, and I bet he'd love to come back.
That actually might be an interesting topic for the offseason, because that, if you go back and look at it, was mostly his agent and not him. That's a
Which is why agents shouldn't have as much power in these as they do.
I don't disagree, and that might be a fun topic to look at
Yep.
in the offseason, because I don't think Freddie and my Braves family and friends would agree. I don't think Freddie wanted to leave Atlanta, and that might have been a mistake by the agent, but it worked out well for him. Got another title, so
Maybe 2.
well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
But to answer your question, no, I don't think Freddie's done. I don't think he's even particularly close to done. I think he's got at least through the end of his contract.
I don't think-
maybe another year or two chasing 3,000.
I don't think that he wants to be done, but I could see him walking away.
So when we flip the other side of the coin, we look at pitching.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had nothing but brilliance out of the Dodgers pitching in
No
the
kidding.
NLCS. I'm curious.
Sustainable?
I don't know. I guess how much of that do you think was the Dodgers pitchers flipping a switch, and how much of it do you think was the Brewers either running out of gas, not having the appropriate game plan? Just sort of how much of that was Dodgers, how much of that was Brewers?
51-49.
51-49. Okay.
I think it was a little bit more than 50-50. I think it was a little bit more of the Brewers being flat, to be honest.
I will say that I think there's some truth to that with what you're saying, Josh, because I think the Brewers had, and I can say this just having been to Milwaukee this year to watch a couple games, and I don't know if you guys have been to Wrigley when they played the Brewers or if you've been to Milwaukee when they played the Cubs. the Brewers wanted to beat the Cubs. And I read a handful of articles from national MLB writers that basically said this is their World Series. Beat the Cubs in the divisional series, and everything else is gravy. That's a short-sighted way of looking at winning, I think, because, you want to beat your rival. You want to take it away from them, but when you do and you don't get to the next round, is it really worth it? Like, does it matter if you beat the Cubs in the divisional series and then you get swept by the Dodgers in embarrassing fashion?
It does, not in this year, but it's overall a very young team.
It is.
So that's experience that they will build off of. I think
with a few
I think it was more a lot of youth that's getting more of a taste of what playing a real built to win team in the postseason is like.
I don't disagree with
and
you
that's
on
the Dodgers.
The one thing that I will say is both the Brewers and the Blue Jays make an attempt to put the ball in play a lot.
Yeah.
And so if that game plan went so poorly for the Brewers, my question is it also going to go so poorly for the Blue Jays? Now, I think that the Blue Jays have a lot more slug than the Brewers do.
Well, it's not a think. That's a thing.
Well, it's not one of those things where they'll have to string together 3 hits in a row in order to play to run.
Right.
They've got boppers in there that'll be able to send one over the wall and, just like Springer did, get 3 runs on the board pretty easy. So I think that everything is going to hinge on what happens with the Dodgers starting pitching. If we get the starting pitching we got in the National League Championship Series,
It's over.
It's over. There's nothing that is going to counteract that. Now, if you get into the bullpen against the Dodgers, it's going to get ugly, and it's going to get ugly fast. Even Sasaki, who wound up being their closer, he is so much better than he was at the beginning part of the season. Yeah. However, he still was not striking out batters the way that you want your closer to striking out. He was only averaging about 6 Ks per 9 innings, which is it's about half of what you'd expect a reliever to do.
It's a low mark
it's
for a high leverage late reliever.
Exactly. You need those balls to find gloves. When you don't have that swing and miss, you really are stuck hoping for the double play. And if that happens, boy, it could turn Toronto's way fast. I could see a lot of happy Canadians in about a week's time.
Happy Canadians. Good band name.
Happy Canadians.
The pitching, I think that really is, when you look at this matchup specifically, the Dodgers pitching, they have to maintain what they did in the NLCS, because if they don't, we've talked about it all year. The Dodgers pitching has been a pretty significant liability, especially when you get into that bullpen. So if you can get to their bullpen early and they're not effective, this is going to be a quick series in the Toronto favor. And our neighbors to the north will be very happy to see that, especially because when was their last World Series win? 1993?
93.
Yeah. So it's been a long time. Sorry to our Mariners fans that listen that have never won a World Series, but we were pulling for you.
In fact, speaking of back-to-backs, they went 92-93, and only one team has done back-to-back since they did. Yankees won
Yankees,
3 in a row.
Yeah.
98, 99, 2000.
The other thing that I think really plays in Toronto's favor is they're not a particularly left-handed strong lineup.
They're not.
And so with that, you're not succumbing to the platoon disadvantages that you would get when you've got to go against Blake Snell. And he's going to take the mound for game 1. And, it's not like Blake Snell can't get righties out, but, he is...
It depends. Is there a damsel in distress in Nakatomi Plaza? Sorry.
So,
Call back from last episode.
so he is. I think we're going to learn a lot come game one. I think that if Blake Snell comes out and he gives them 5-6 solid innings, we're going to be in for a series. If Toronto jumps onto Blake Snell, I think that we're going to get a really short series, and it's going to swing in Toronto's favor.
Game 1 is in.
Game one, as in
Is in.
Toronto.
Yeah,
Toronto's
that's what
got
I'm
home
saying.
field. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Toronto has home field. I think you're right. Game 1 has a significant implication to this series, and not just for who has home field, but home field plays a big piece in it. And if Toronto can get hot early and get to the bullpen, I think Game 1 goes not just to the Blue Jays, but significantly to the Blue Jays. And we've seen them rack up runs. They can score 10, 12, 13 runs in a game, and it's not even it doesn't even seem like it's a problem. Now, if Blake Snell shuts them down in innings 1, 2, 3, and even into 4, that's a problem for the Blue Jays. That's a problem.
Here's the thing. I really think that I think that the Dodgers are going to need to get at least 6 innings out of their starters.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
In order to win a game.
That's the
And
thing.
the Blue Jays have shown time and again in this postseason, they do score runs late too.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think, Nels?
Crickets.
Yeah,
I
agree with you, Nels.
I think Nels is just hoping the worst for Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Oh, did you say Blue Jays in 3.5? Okay, cool.
Oh, do you hope that Chavez Ravine falls into a sinkhole tomorrow, so all games need to be played in Toronto? Oh, big surprise there.
Oh man, LA gets hit by volcano that's saved by Tommy Lee Jones. Okay, cool. We're all going to Toronto. We miss you, Nels.
So, I don't know. Like, so, right now we've got Sasaki, Vesia,
No.
maybe not Vesia.
Maybe not. Yeah, there's
Go ahead and talk about
some breaking news before we started here, and we wish the best for Vesia, but he is away from the team for some personal family matters.
Yeah.
No further information has been disclosed. Not going to speculate on anything.
No.
But we wish him all the best. But I mean, from a baseball sense, that's a big blow to the Dodgers bullpen as well.
For sure. And
Life is more important than the sport for sure. But it does have a significant impact on this series if he's out for 2 games, if he ends up being off the roster for the whole, World Series, that's one more arm that the Dodgers don't have.
Echo the sentiment. We hope everything's okay. We don't want to speculate anything. We hope everything is safe, secure, and he can get back as soon as possible. But
so
it sucks nonetheless.
But even with
you want to see the best play the best.
Even with Vesia, Sasaki, Trinan, Vesia, the next guy that you can trust is Banda, and then it gets dark after that. You're talking about Sheehan.
I would argue it gets dark at Banda.
It does get dark at Banda, but he's got a lot of tattoos. He looks cool. That should be worth something. And you have a lot of tattoos, Ben. You look cool.
I look very cool.
And you'd be a very intimidating mound presence in a postseason series.
I'm standing 6 inches taller than everybody else when I'm on the mound. I'm very intimidating.
It's just, I think you're really hoping that you can get something out of Kershaw in in an emergency.
Do you buy it?
Appearance?
Do you buy it?
The only way that I would want to see Kershaw is if I'm a team with a lot of lefties, I would perhaps use Kershaw as an opener and try to really I thought that they'd use him as an opener against Philadelphia and go after their lefty, top end of the lineup with Harper and Schwarber in order to try to neutralize them at the beginning of the game. That's the only place. No, that's the only place. That's the only place that I really see a lane for him to be able to pitch. And so, I mean,
He's not going to not pitch.
He's
in
not
this
going to
World
not pitch,
Series.
and we did just see Max Scherzer come out and just drop it on the Mariners, because there is something about an old dog, and we do know that this is his last go. If he wants to throw his arm until it falls off, they'll let him.
Let me
Yeah, what
ask-
does he need that arm for?
He doesn't.
After next
He
week,
doesn't.
after next week, that arm just gets to take
me-
vacation. All
Yeah,
day.
it just
me-
needs to be able to lift up a pina colada to his mouth,
doesn't even need to do that because he's got two arms for a reason.
or a very long straw.
Let me ask you this: do we see a Scherzer and
Kershaw.
yeah, I was getting there. Thank you. Kershaw inning in this World Series?
I don't think we do. I don't
Probably
think.
not.
I don't think
Don't
it
think
lines
so?
up that way. It would be awesome if
not
we did.
unless Kershaw starts a game, because
Fair.
Scherzer's going to start a game, and I don't see him going late enough that they'd be bringing in Kershaw at the point that he's still pitching.
I don't disagree with the premise that you're bringing up, but what if Scherzer goes 4 and it's a Dodger bullpen game and it's game 4 or 5?
It's entirely possible.
It could happen.
It would have to be game 4.
It'd be fun to watch.
It would be really fun to watch. Although,
They should both start game 3.
I'm with you. Let's put it's an old timers game.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Put your Hall of Famers on the mound and let them shove.
the one
Whoever goes longest gets the win automatically.
the one thing that I'll say is I think that there's a serious tonal difference between the way Kershaw and
Yeah.
Scherzer pitch.
Scherzer is a legitimate psychopath on
Yes.
the mound, and he wants nothing else than to just tear up every single guy that gets in the box. And Kershaw is always has been much more finesse,
Or
a
just-
little bit more of just like kind of a
Matter of fact and professional.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
This
and
is my
and
job.
Scherzer wants to rip your head off.
Yes.
Scherzer reminds me. We're gonna meld sports here for a second. Chris Spielman, longtime Ohio State Buckeye, also
Lion.
played for the Detroit Lions. Josh,
And he's in our front office.
yes, he is.
Big time part of this turnaround.
Really, really interesting story that he used to tell when he was on 97.1 The Fan in Columbus, Ohio, before he got the job with the Lions. Was he talked a lot about when he was in the NFL, that every time that he went out on the field, what he had to imagine was the quarterback, the offensive lineman, the running back, the receivers, whoever he was in charge of covering and or blitzing in that particular play, was that they had kidnapped his whole family, and the only way to get them back was to attack that individual player. I feel like that's very similar to the way that Scherzer attacks the way he pitches.
Oh, Scherzer, not only does he do that against the opponent, but he also does that against his manager, his other
100%,
coaches,
100%.
perhaps the bullpen pitchers.
I think Scherzer has a personal vendetta against every catcher's glove that has ever been made.
Yeah.
And he just wants to punch the baseball
see,
through a catcher.
That's the funniest thing about like professional sports is like you have the given talents, you're born with them, you've worked on them, you've developed them, and you've gotten to the point where you're in the highest level of competition that you can be, and yet you still have to find some sort of edge. And so like guys like Scherzer, guys like Spielman, guys like Tom Brady, or guys like name your greatest, Jerry Rice, whatever, they have to find that extra level of motivation. And it's insanity, but that insanity brings them to a level that not a lot of other guys get to.
Especially in the playoffs.
Yes, especially in the playoffs.
I feel like if we sort of want that matching of vibes, what we're really
Bring Joe Kelly back.
Earmarking. Well, Joe Kelly would be a good
Scherzer
call.
versus Joe
Yeah.
Kelly.
was
but-
Joe Kelly the guy that put the razor blade on his hand to smack the ear hole?
No.
Oh, I don't think
I have
so.
no idea about that one.
We'll get to him in an off-season episode.
The attitude match would be a Blake Snell, Max Scherzer start in Game 4, Game 5.
Yeah.
that would be the thing that would match up. And so if we're matching,
both look like
Evil
90s
villain
villains.
versus psychopath.
evil
no, so
villains.
if we're just matching based off of like attitude, I want Blake Snell versus Scherzer. I think I want Shohei versus
Bieber.
I was almost going to put Bieber against.
I was gonna go Bieber against
Glasnow.
Yeah.
Bieber and Glasnow.
That was what I was gonna
Maybe
go with.
Yamamoto. Maybe Yamamoto against Bieber.
I think that would be fun too. I don't think Bieber against Shohei does much for me because I think we know the outcome.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think
Personally.
Like, that's the one thing is I will say that the Dodgers do have 4.5 starting pitchers that I trust.
4.5.
Well, I'm giving Kershaw the half.
All right, fair enough.
I'm giving Kershaw the half. He's half of a starting pitcher that I trust.
that's an interesting question. Do you start Kershaw for one of those 5 starts?
I think it really depends on how everything goes. I am not starting Kershaw if we get to game 4 and 5 and I am 1 game away from elimination. I will do it if it is if we're 2 games away from elimination. For as much sense as that makes.
Well, yeah, that makes sense, but I guess I'm still trying to get into the mindset of the managers and where they're thinking because I think this is the point that the fact that we have a podcast and we're not actual managers. Because I have thoughts, you have thoughts, Josh has thoughts, Nels has thoughts, and quite honestly, one of us would be right, but it's luck of the draw.
I mean, I think that you can really get away with 3 starting pitchers in 7-game playoffs where you've got 2 off days. So the Dodgers have a legitimate 4.
3.
You can get away with it. 4.
3.
They have 4.
I understand they have 4, but
Yeah.
you're going 3 on 1 day's rest between individual, or well, 2 at the most.
Yeah.
2 days rest.
You can get away with 3 because you have a bullpen day that you throw in there.
But you don't trust the Dodgers bullpen, and I don't either.
No. The Dodgers have 4 starters.
Dodgers have 4.
Dodgers are going to use 4.
Okay, I
Dodgers are going to use 4.
I got you.
Snell, Ohtani,
You're talking about the Blue
and,
Jays.
and
Okay.
Yamamoto are all making starts.
So you're saying the Blue Jays could essentially not strategically forfeit that 4th game, but essentially ask their offense to win the game.
Yes, I think that what we will expect out of the Blue Jays is for Savage, Bieber,
Yasovich!
and Gossman to be the starters. And then beyond that, you've got Scherzer that you'll throw out there for a de facto bullpen game.
You're ballsy.
I am ballsy.
You're ballsy.
I'm like I said,
I'm
I'm not a nerd, jock. Totally cool. Not lame.
Not a nerd.
Not a nerd.
Ting tang, walla walla bing bang. I don't buy it. I think you have to put your best 3 out there in games 1, 2, and 3 and hope that your offense can win game 4. I think your pitching matches up enough in 1, 2, and 3 that you can win at least 2, and you better hope to whatever God you pray to that game 4 you can win bullpen wise. I don't buy that they can. I don't buy that they can win one of the first 2 games. Because they're putting Shohei and Blake Snell out there. I don't think they can win one of those 2.
You don't think the Blue Jays can take either of
No,
those?
I don't.
I think they're going to get to Snell.
You think that? I would love to see them get to Snell. Because I think you're absolutely correct that Snell is primed to be got.
Yes.
He just hasn't gotten got yet.
He hasn't gotten got in the playoffs, but remember, like,
That's
this,
what I'm saying.
This Dodgers team didn't. Let's not have our memory be too short about
Let's
it.
not retcon everything.
Yes, it's not like, remember, like, this Dodgers team was not the best team in the National League.
No, go back to the first 5 episodes of this podcast.
Yes.
The Dodgers bullpen and their starters were crap.
The Blue Jays were the best team in the American League.
I agree.
They were.
Well, statistically they were.
Statistically they were.
But they actually objectively were as well.
Yes, and so we are there's reason to be scared of the Dodgers. They looked unbeatable in the NLCS, but I feel like there's a little bit of iron sharpens iron between the Blue Jays and the Mariners. Going those rounds, I don't think it tires them out, especially with this, long layoff that they've got being done on a Monday and having to play again on a Friday. You get some days off, your bruises are going to start to heal, your muscles are going to start to loosen up, you're going to be in good shape. You got to stay home. You've been awash in the city of Toronto's love and adulation. You're in a good spot, Toronto. You're going to win this thing.
Was that your stat or Nels' stat that talked about teams that went 7 games in a CS versus those that swept in a CS?
That was neither my stat nor Nels' stat. That was Sarah Lang's stat, who said that...
Who's Sarah Lang?
Sarah Lang, MLB Network statistician.
No, who sent it to the group is what I'm saying.
Oh. She
Who sent it to the group chat?
Sarah Lang sent it to the group chat.
is not in our group chat.
She should be.
Sarah Lang, sponsor the podcast. Was that you or was that Nels?
I don't know which one it was.
But
yes,
it was overwhelming, those that had gone to 7 games versus those that had swept in the CS. The 7-game team that won overwhelmingly won the World Series.
I think it was 7 or 8 straight.
Yeah.
If you are a team that went 7 versus a team that swept last 7 or 8 times, it's the team that went 7 that went up winning the World Series.
What was
unanimous.
Her name? What was her name again?
Sarah Lang.
Sarah Lang. Do you know her Twitter handle?
Slangs on Sports.
Slangs on Sports. We're begging for sponsors, and we are not above whoring ourselves out for money and or sponsorship. So, sponsor the podcast.
So anyhow, I'm ready to give a prediction. I don't know if everyone else is ready to give a prediction.
Yeah, predict away.
My prediction is that Sarah Lang will sponsor the next podcast.
That would be a dream.
I'm saying Jason 5.
Who's Jason 5?
Jason 5.
Oh, Jay's in 5.
Jurassic 5.
Jason.
Blue Jason 5.
Friday the 13th, Part 5.
Scream Part 5.
It's just called Scream 5.
Scream 5.
It's where Dewey dies.
Scream V.
Wow,
was
spoilers.
It Scream
V? Spoilers. Sorry, guys.
Empire Strikes 5. 5.
Empire Strikes 5.
Blue Jason 5.
Moron.
Everyone gets to know Ernie Clement's name, and a lot of kids are going as Ernie Clement for Halloween come 2026.
Real question, because you're the only individual on the show that has children. Will you allow your kids to stay up and watch the World Series?
Only for non-school nights. So they're going to watch. So
you're a good American.
They're going to watch on Friday nights. They're going to watch on Saturday nights. And then everything else, it'll have to be...
Just real quick. We've seen the pictures you send in the group chats of your kids passed out at like 9:15. Are they actually going to stay up?
No, those are Friday nights. We're
aware of what days they are.
They're allowed to stay up to watch. That doesn't mean they are staying.
Just choose not to. They're done.
But like by the time we get to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they're going to be able to watch until about 9 o'clock, and then they got to get to bed.
Fair. All right, Josh.
I'm sticking with my prediction that I said on the pod on Sunday. Jays in 6. It's hard for me to imagine that this Dodgers team doesn't win a couple. But I'm sticking with Jays in 6, which does allow them to win it in Toronto, which would be. I'm always a big fan when I don't have a actual team that I'm rooting for. I do have that part of me that likes to see it with the home crowd. So watching Game 7, that Springer home run be in Toronto is just so much cooler to me.
Was it one of the Giants World Series victories where no team won their home games? Like, it was always the visiting team?
There was one series like that. I don't remember which one it was.
I can't imagine anything worse than that.
No, that was the Nationals. It was the Nationals World Series where the road team won every game.
And just let's not have that happen. I want the Toronto fans to be happy for an evening. I do want the Dodgers fans to be happy for an evening.
I don't, but But I do like seeing a championship clinched at home.
Yeah.
If it doesn't impact my team.
Right.
Okay.
Like, I'd rather my team win on the road than
Sure.
another team beat my team to win
Right, yeah.
at their home.
Game 7 at the opponent's stadium, you're like,
Yeah.
well, I like all those 35,000
Right.
people to go home happy, so I'm going to hope for that. to
Right.
happen.
Enjoy your
I
nights.
wanted the Tigers to win Game 7 in Seattle.
Yeah, of course
But-
you did. Yeah.
Drive home safely.
All right, Ben.
Actually, before we get to me, we're going to go with our trusty on assignment individual member of the community, Nelson. Nels is going Dodgers in 5. I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Well,
Did that actually come from him, or did we just make
It's,
that up?
it's in
No.
the group chat. It's in the group chat. Nels in 5.
Nels is
Nels in 5.
Nels in 5.
Dodgers in 5.
as an NL West fan.
Yeah.
I think that he is just irrational when it comes to all NL West teams, and I think he's got, a righteous fear, but this year, like maybe an excessive fear of this Dodgers team.
I get that. Okay, I guess I'm going last. I think I'm going to go against what I said earlier in this show about I think the Dodgers get the first 2 in Toronto. I'm going Blue Jays in 4. I'm going Blue Jays sweep.
Whoa!
I'm going Blue Jays sweep. This feels like the year that whoever came out of the AL was going to have a reckoning with the NL, and the Dodgers just happened to be the team in front of that buzzsaw. I am very aware that this is a dumb pick. I'm very aware. I am aware that this is stupid, and I'm aware that I am 0.01% chance to be correct here.
Wow.
But I'm going Blue Jays in 4.
Well, Ben, I will give you something that'll back up that you're not even probably thinking about for your pick,
I
but
can
might back
guarantee
you up.
I'm not.
Since 2000, I think there's been 4 times that one team has swept to go to the World Series and the other went 7 games. In those 4 series, the team that went 7 won all 4 times, twice in sweeps, twice in 5.
See, that's the stat we were trying to talk about
Yeah.
when he was getting a drink.
Yeah.
And we messed it up. So I apologize for messing it up.
Of course you go for that when I have to step away for a
Well,
moment.
Josh had to get a drink, so what can you do?
I think the interesting thing about this is going through this whole season, the National League seemed head and shoulders above the American League. Just from, it seemed like it was by far and away
Did it?
the better.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
100%.
I don't know that I agree with
100%.
Cubs, Phillies, Dodgers all seemed above
And
anybody in the
even
American League.
even the teams at the tail end of who made the playoffs, you had the Padres, the Mets missed it. I think that there were everyone looked at this whole season and said the National League has got a superior class of competition than the American League. And I think that was true in the regular season, but
Yeah.
now that I'm looking through the playoffs, and I think that had the Dodgers been bounced and we were talking about a different team from the National League, I might feel a little differently. But right now, I really like the way that this Blue Jays team is playing.
Yeah.
If their starting pitching can give them anything, if their relievers can give them what they've already given them in the playoffs, I like their chances a lot.
So let's recap for the end of the show. Tyler, you say
Jays in 5.
Jays in 5. Josh, you say
Jays in 6.
Jays in 6. Nell says Dodgers in 5. And I am the idiot who says Jays in 4.
Ben brings out the broom and sends us to an early offseason.
Who do you think is going to have the moment of the World Series?
It's got to
Vladdy.
be. It's got to be George Springer.
Vladdy.
I'd love it to
Vladdy's
be.
gonna do it
I'd
in
love it to
front-
be Vladdy.
The
I'd love that.
Canadian-born,
I would love
son
it.
of a Hall of Famer,
I
making
would,
his moment after signing a huge extension. Springer is going to be a vital piece. Vladdy is going to have the big moment.
I would love it to be Vladdy because of all the reasons you just said. I think Vladdy is going to be the MVP of this series, but you talk about the moment.
moment, yeah.
The moment, to me, George Springer.
Yes. Yeah, that's not saying who's the MVP.
If Vladdy's the MVP.
I don't think Vladdy is the MVP, but I think that Vladdy is probably got the moment. Not that I'm not saying Vladdy couldn't be the MVP. I'm just taking the field as much as anything.
Well, don't take the field. Give me a name.
I'm going Ernie Clement.
Okay, you love Ernie Clement.
I just feel
Ernie
like somehow
Clement a la 2019 Howie Kendrick.
I feel like it's going to be one of those things where we get to the end of the series and it's going to be something where, he had a 360 batting average and a 580 on base, and he drove in 10 runs.
Plus he was scared stupid. He went to jail. He went to Africa.
Yeah.
He played basketball.
Right. That was Ernst, but
that was Jim Varney's character.
that was Jim Varney.
Ernst.
Ernst. Ernst went to camp.
He went to camp.
Ernie, his roommate was Bert, and it's a totally different guy.
Fair enough. So what do we think, guys? Should we end this with a little bit of trivia?
I love trivia.
Yeah, let's finish
I'm
it
horrible
off.
at it. I love it.
All right. We're gonna do 5 questions. I know that I have not been the best at putting the most amazing trivia questions together over the last few episodes.
Better than us.
Just because
We haven't put any
just
together,
because you
so-
didn't do any. So
Well, you at least did something.
5 questions. These I think are pretty not easy, but for the two of you, pretty easy. World Series trivia questions. So who wants to start?
Josh
do
should
it.
start. He's
Josh
better.
wants to start. Okay. Question
Which means
1.
I'm going to get these all wrong now. The pressure's on.
Question 1. Who pitched the only perfect game in World Series history?
Don Larson, 1956?
Bingo.
Was it
On
56?
both. Yes, on both. All right, Tyler. Which player hit the game-winning homer in Game 6 of the 2011 World Series?
Game 6, 2011. Said game-winning homer?
Game-winning homer, yes, in Game 6. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is his
No,
dad.
I think it was was that the Cardinals?
Yes.
It was the Cardinals, and I am
know the
totally blanking on the guy's name.
I got it.
Arnold's his dad.
I can picture it.
Arnold's his dad.
Go. Send it.
Freeze.
David
Yes!
Freese. Yes. Very nice. Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Nice to see you.
It's a great movie. I don't care what anyone says. It's a great movie. All right, question number 3. Josh, who won the first ever World Series in 1903?
Shoot, I don't think I actually...
Hint, I will be there tomorrow.
I don't know where you're going tomorrow.
Oh, I thought that was a good hint.
No, I didn't know that you were leaving us tomorrow.
I'm leaving on a jet plane and going east
Let's go.
to a place where there is a monster that may or may not be green.
I was going to say
Boston?
Boston Red Sox.
It's not the Red Sox.
Boston Braves.
Bean eaters.
No, you're a little bit too high in the years.
Okay.
Boston Americans, 1903.
That's something that I feel like I should know, but baseball goes back into the 1800s, and I don't know exactly when the World Series
It's all
started.
right. It's all right.
That's one that I should
It's
probably
all right.
know, but
It's all right. So you started that one, so we're back to Tyler.
yep.
What team lost 100 games one season and won the World Series the next?
Minnesota Twins?
Bingo. That had to be yours.
Worst to first.
That had to be yours. All right, so last one, Josh. Who hit the, quote, shot heard round the world in the World Series?
Hank Thompson.
No.
No, Bobby Thompson.
There
Bobby
you go.
Thompson.
There
wrong,
you go.
Wrong first name.
There you go.
Wrong first name. Bobby
Different
Thompson. I think they both played for the Giants.
They
too,
did.
Right?
Yes,
yep,
they did.
Yep. Right last name, wrong first name.
Right,
Bobby Thompson shot heard around the world.
got there eventually.
Right, wrong, or indifferent, we do our best to entertain you
Bobby
all.
Hank, it's all King of the Hill.
It's a... and we've always said that. Okay, guys, that is going to wrap it up for our World Series preview. The World Series starts tomorrow. We're recording this on Thursday. The World Series starts on Friday. By the time we record again, we'll have a World Series we'll start that over. World Series champion, and it will either be the Los Angeles Dodgers or the Toronto Blue Jays.
And
Unless we get super surprised.
Unless there's someone that comes in from the top rope and steals the title out from underneath them.
Yeah. Saturday would be game 7 if necessary. So if it goes 9 games, we'll have one on Monday. But this year, too, we can legitimately claim World Series.
And we can always hope for 9 games. We did something a little bit different for the end of this show. We didn't do Ballpark Brews. Sorry for those that were looking forward to that. But because this is a bonus episode in the week, we didn't want to tax our team with finding something special for you guys. But I did put together something really interesting and fun for you. It's called the final walkthrough of the MLB season. This is not the final episode. We are not stopping the podcast. We are continuing to do it. But I thought it would be fun to do a look back at the entire season and where we are now in October. So we hope you enjoy it. We hope you listen to it. And if you want to get at us, swingandamisspod@gmail.com, swingandamisspodcast on all our socials. Tyler is very apt to argue with you, just as is Nels on our social media. So please interact with them and tell them how much you hate what we say or love what we say. And one of the two of them will tell you how stupid you are. Any thoughts? Both of them are checking.
Never knew.
Both of them are checking their phones.
Looking for any last second updates to throw in here. I got nothing.
I only tell the nerds what losers they are.
That's right, dorks. Thanks for being dorks, nerds, weirdos, geeks, and thanks for listening to what we have to say, because we're nerds, dorks, and geeks also.
And apparently can't speak.
Nope, never been able to. It's weird that they gave me a microphone.
You gave you a microphone.
True story. Fair. True story. I did. That's a good point. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. Play the game. Love the game. Let us know what you think of the final walkthrough of the MLB season, and we'll talk to you in a few weeks. Talk to you soon. Bye, guys. All right, folks, grab your peanuts, your Cracker Jacks, and maybe a therapy session if your team just got bounced, because it's time for the final walkthrough of the MLB season. Here on Swing and a Miss, we go at our own pace. Unlike some teams this year who were swinging like they had dinner reservations in the 3rd inning. Looking at you, Rockies, White Sox, and Nationals. Anyway, what a season it's been. We've had surprises, heartbreaks, and more blown saves than a Little League All-Star team. Let's take a look at some of the stats from the season, a grind that separated the contenders from the maybe next year's. We had over 2,400 regular season games played and 40 playoff games so far. Over 163,000 at-bats, 40,000 hits, 5,600 home runs, 710,000 pitches thrown, 15,000 walks, and over 40,000 strikeouts. Dear God! We saw teams that were supposed to rebuild suddenly contending, and teams that are proof that money can't buy happiness, but it can lease a 4th-place finish. Braves. And I mean, the Mets payroll could fund a small nation, and somehow their biggest win was selling at the deadline. And the Yankees, who finally realized you can't strike out 12 times a game and call it Bronx bombing. And now, we're in October, the month where legends are made and fan bases collectively forget how to breathe. We've seen the usual chaos, upsets, walk-offs, and at least one team every year that forgets how to hit the second the postseason starts. It's like clockwork. You dominate all summer, then suddenly you're swinging sliders 3 feet outside of the zone like it's the new TikTok trend. And the pitching, man. Playoff pitching is a different beast. Guys who have ERAs higher than their GPA suddenly turning into Cy Young candidates overnight. And meanwhile, someone's bullpen, and there's always a few, completely forget how to throw strikes. Looking at you, Reds and Yankees. But it keeps things entertaining, because nothing says October baseball like a bases-loaded walk in the 8th inning. We've had some amazing performances, too, showing the baseball world why they belong on the big stage. From Raleigh to Shohei, to Scooble and Skeens, and Judge and J-Ram. These performances remind us why we love this game. So here we are, down to the final 2 teams, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, chasing that piece of metal, as Rob Manfred once so eloquently put it. It's been a wild ride, but that's baseball. And every year we come back for more. Because no matter how it ends, whether your team's still playing or already on the golf course, October baseball is just different. That's it for the final walkthrough. We'll see you next episode where we break down the World Series and hopefully a Blue Jays win. Talk to you then.